Hi, my name's Anton and this is my dog Moose. We live in Cornwall, which is in the south of England, and today I'm going to be showing you how I process fleece, prepping it ready to go off to the mill. Grab your knitting, grab a cup of tea, however you like to watch your vlogs, and let's get started. So I start off by rolling out some of the fleece. This is a nice big Zwartbles fleece here. We're going to start off by removing the most matted parts of the fleece. So that's normally around the legs and the back of the sheep. So you can see here, some of this fleece is matted, and that's no good for going through the mill, but we're going to put those matted bits carefully to the side because they are useful for something, which I will explain later in this video. So once I've skirted the fleece and got rid of the worst of the felted parts, I'll then start removing some of the vegetable matter, which is straw, hay, and sometimes sticks that's got tangled up in the fleece, and I just get rid of those in preparation to sending the fleece off to the mill.
So here we have a Zwartbles fleece, or as the Dutch say it, Zwartbles. Originally a Dutch breed, but we very much adopted it here in the UK. This is from Sarah, the kernowshepherdess flock. She keeps pure breed Zwartbles, and we blend it with some of our Wensleydale lamb's wool to create our rum and raisin yarn. And it just has this beautiful, beautiful dark bitter chocolate black, and we mix it with some of our black Wensleydale, so it keeps that lovely colour. As you can see on the end here, there's some little tanned bits, and this is just where the sun has bleached the end, a bit like on our human hair. When we've been out in the sun, some people put lemon juice in their hair and get a little bit of a blonde tinge on the edge of their hair. That actually gets lost during the process of spinning, so we are just left with this beautiful, beautiful dark colour. You can see that there is a crimp to this beautiful wool, and it's got a lovely glossy fibre to it. A way that we can test the wool here is that we can give it a little ping. So if I hold it next to my microphone and ping it, you hear that? That elasticity in the wool is great. It means it's got some strength to it. If it starts to crackle, it means it's brittle, and that might not be as soft. When we talk about softness, we talk about a few things. We talk about micron, which is the microtic meter of a single piece of hair. So I'm just pulling a single piece of hair here. I can hold it up to the sun and see it's very, very thin. Now the micron count for a Zwartbles will be around about 28 to 32 microns. We actually did some tests on Sarah's wool, which we sent it off to the lab, and it came back at 28, 29, which is a brilliant micron count. So that is just the literal thickness of an individual strand of hair. And we take an average across some samples for all the fleeces from different parts of the fleece and different fleeces themselves. So that contributes to being soft, but it's not the only thing that makes it soft. We tend to get held up on micron quite a lot when we think about merino sheep having the softest micron of sheep, but actually, in terms of softness, there are many different elements. If something is glossy soft, it might have a slightly harder micron, but it's a smooth, glossy soft rather than being fluffy and soft. I just think it's fantastic how two different breeds of sheep can create such different wool. The Zwartbles here, for example, is a very fluffy, voluminous wool, which is a fluffy softness. So when we get that end spun garment, it's going to feel voluminous and fluffy, and it's going to be warm and cozy and squidgy. But then the Wensleydale, with its long locks of fibre, it's more lusterful and glossy. It has this sleeky, glossy feel to it with a lot of drape, which both of them argumentatively are both soft. So when we talk about softness, I think we get caught up with something being fluffy and soft, and we forget that things can be glossy and smooth and soft. So I wanted to create a yarn that incorporated the elements of both. So by taking the Zwartbles and its beautiful voluminous fluff, and then combining it with some of the Wensleydale, I think we've created a yarn which is very, very special indeed. It brings these two rare breeds together, borrows the property from both of these very natural fibres, and creates a yarn which is both voluminous, glossy, shiny and smooth and soft. And I absolutely love it. And I hope you do too. So I have a pile of the rejected fleece here. This fleece is either too matted, or it's got too much vegetable matter in it, or it's got any poopy bits in it, and it's not going to be great for putting into the machines, and it's also not going to make a very good yarn. So what do I do with it? I either take it to the Eden Project, which is here in Cornwall, and they mulch it, or they use it as a natural repellent against slugs and snails. I also take it to local allotments, or anybody that wants it. It rots down, it becomes part of the biosphere again, and any bits that have got the poop in it is a really good fertilizer. So we have zero waste here. All this fleece is useful for something. The best bit will go in to be spun and create wonderful yarns. For this, it's going to be returned back to the planet the way it should be. So I've taken a break from picking fleece for a minute. I just want to show you what I'm working on at the moment and what I've got on my needles and just come off my needles. The first thing I am going to show you is my van. This is my little caddy. Welcome to the caddy. I have only just recently got this van and I love it. It means I can pull up to the sea and open up the back and lay in the back and do some knitting and have a cup of tea, and I just love it. It doesn't actually have a name yet, so maybe you lot can name it. I'll do a little video of what he or she or they look like, and you can come up with some name suggestions. But yeah, it gets me to yarn shows. It allows me to take the wool to the mill, pick it up from the mill again, and sit in the back and enjoy the sea and enjoy my knitting. So love this van. What have I got on my needles? I'm working on a pattern of my own design. This one I have called the FORESHORE. And for those of you that don't know, the FORESHORE is the beach or rocks that gets exposed when the tide goes out. So it's either covered by the sea and then it's exposed during low tide. And I just like that idea of that sort of ebb and flow and that sort of exposing itself and then a secret under the sea when it's not there. And the repetitiveness of the tide going in and out kind of reminded me of knitting, of that sort of repetitive motion that just feels cathartic. And so I thought it was just a good name. But yeah, so I am knitting it in my Softer Sea Mist, which is from Steve the Salted Shepherd's sheep, which are Dorsets, which are literally right there. And I love this yarn. It is so soft. It's a great touch against your skin. It's got this beautiful volume and creaminess to it. That's my little stitch marker there. And then the other yarn is from Telling Yarns. I love Beth's yarn. I've met Beth at a lot of yarn shows. Her yarn is just, I think it's very compatible with my yarn. It's also spun in the Southwest at John Arbon's, and it's a lovely mixture of British balls. I love her dyeing, and her artistry is just incredible. It's this beautiful, variegated but softly toned palette of colours, and I just adore it. I can't actually remember the name of this colour, but I will post it here along with the details of the yarn and the name of the sweater, and hopefully, as I say, it will release this winter. I have used a motif which can be seen in some of my Gansey patterns and my hat patterns, but I've made it into colourwork form and doing this yoke down sweater. So it's a doubled over collar. It's got short rows shaping for the neck. That's what my little yarn stitch marker there is for. Knitted top down. As with all my patterns, it is always designed as a gender neutral pattern, so it should suit any form. Male, female, non-binary. It's something I believe in greatly, that a jumper should suit everyone, and yeah, that's how I like to design. So this jumper is exactly the same. I'm almost at the end of the motif now. There's just a little bit more colour work to do, and then I'll be going down into the body and then coming back and doing the sleeves. It's super warm and lovely. It's a double knit, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really quite addictive. I designed my colour work to be that you're not carrying too many. You're not carrying your float too long at any one point, so the maximum it will do is 5. I tend to catch my floats every sort of 3 or 4 by crossing them over. I'm a sort of continental and English style knitter, so I like to cross them over as I go and catch the floats, so there's not long floats going there. But yeah, maximum 5 stitches before you catch again or change over to the colour. So what else have I been working on? I have done my first, I can just give you a little tease there. I have done my first knit along. When I saw this pattern come out online, I think it was 2 days, 2 days before it was released, I saw it online on Instagram, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to knit that. It's beautiful. I loved the shape. I love the colour work in it. It looks fantastic, and it was part of the ISAGER, I can never say it, ISAGER archive collection. This is designed by Odd Rose, and as I said again, I saw it and was like, I need to knit it. I'd actually just broken my ankle that week, and so I was like, I've got plenty of time, I can knit this. And then I saw there was a knit along. I've never done a knit along before, so I thought I'm going to do it as a knit along. Abandoned all my other projects and just dedicated all my time to this. So this is the Tove shirt by Odd Rose as part of the ISAGER archive collection. I love this. I love the shape of it. I just think it's beautiful. Now, I have done some adapting to it because the pattern work here, the mosaic pattern, it stopped here. And so it was just across the shoulders, and for me, it just looked a bit feminine, which is absolutely fine. I think the original pattern of it looks really good, and it probably would suit a man. I just thought I actually fancied the colour work coming a little bit lower to my chest, and so I've dropped it down a little bit. Did a bit of jiggery pokery, mathies. It wasn't complicated to figure out how to bring it down, like the space is there. It just kind of worked for my gauge a little bit, and then just had to think about how deep the sleeve was going to be. But I will try and put some of my notes about how I've changed it slightly. But in its original form, it's beautiful, it's perfect, it's wonderful. I just wanted to do it slightly different. So I have used some of the ISAGER yarn as the colour work, and then some of my double knit as the main colour. I changed the sleeves. Oh, I haven't woven in my ends there, just going to tuck those away. I changed the sleeves slightly, so you've got the mosaic knitting. The mosaic knitting, obviously you're carrying one colour at a time, so you're not doing double colour work, you're not doing colour work, it's just mosaic knitting and slip stitch. I added a rib because you were supposed to do the mosaic all the way to the edge, but I love pulling up my sleeves whilst when I'm wearing a jumper. I just pull my sleeves up all the time. It's just a habit I have, and so I wanted some ribbing there. So I added some ribbing, and the same with the bottom. I believe in the original pattern it is mosaic at the bottom as well. But again, I just wanted some stretch and ribbing because I like to turn over my jumper as well. I'm very much like a pushy, uppy, turning over jumper wearer. I used some Merchant & Mills buttons, and I tried to sort of match the colours done odd coloured buttons all the way down, just to sort of reflect the different colours in the yarn. I don't normally get to end a pattern and think I'm going to knit that again. I normally just do a pattern, then move on to something else. I will definitely knit this again. I loved this pattern, and I love the shape it has when you wear it. I'll get some videos of me wearing it. I just think it's brilliant, and I definitely will knit this again, maybe in a darker colour with quite light contrasts, or reverse of something super creamy and light, or light grey or silver, and then do like a darker contrast. I just think it has such versatility as a pattern. You can really customize it and make it your own. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So there are some other things that I'm working on, but I'm going to do some videos in between this long form video, which is more about this sort of style of YouTubing, of talking about my patterns, talking about patterns I like, yarns I like, and other yarns that I like, and what I'm working on. So I'm going to save some of those projects for then. So I'm going to get back to sorting fleece now, and yeah.
18 years ago, me and my mother decided that we were going to set up a rare breed farm, and one of the first animals we decided to get was the Wensleydale long wool sheep. The reason we decided to go for these sheep over other sheep were the colours. The colours are absolutely incredible. We decided to get the black and silver ones. There is also the white Wensleydales, but we were just really drawn to these dark, natural autumnal colours. Its fantastically long staples mean that it's got a rigidity and strength to the yarn. So therefore, it's really good for tweeding, but also as a knitting yarn, it gives you a lovely, glorious drape. It feels luxurious and heavy as you wear it, but it also is versatile. It is also warming, and it is also breathable, and it wicks away moisture. We wanted to increase the population of the breed in the UK, but we also wanted to improve on the quality of the fibre. So through selective breeding, using different rams and different ewes, we wanted to create a fibre that has as thin a micron as possible, a lovely luster, natural colour to it, to create the best fibre we possibly could. When we talk about Wensleydale long wools, we describe them as a luster long wool. And what that means is they have luster to their wool. Luster is shine. Their fibres naturally reflect the light, which gives it that shiny appearance. That's why the silver fleeces look silver and not grey, because they reflect the light in such a beautiful way that they give this shine, and they sing with the different colours and tones that are coming from the natural state of the yarn. So to see the fleece in its raw fibre is something really, really special, I think. This is why I love doing this picking, because I get to handle the yarn, check in with the sheep, see if they're healthy, see if they're okay, and then I can do adjustments within the flock to help improve the quality of their fibre, whether that be through breeding or nourishment or husbandry.
So there you have it. That's picking fleece. This process is really important for me to do myself. It's where I get to handle the fibre. I can see if everybody's happy and healthy from the quality of the fleece, the textures of the fleece, the colours, and what amazing colours. I mean, look at that. Just all natural. And this is where we like to give the credit where it's due, to the sheep. This is why we always say, yarn in the colour the sheep intended. Thank you for watching. I've really enjoyed making this first video. If you liked this, please like and subscribe, and do comment below, and hopefully I'll make another video soon. So until then, bye bye.